Gymnastic rings are my favorite tool for building big biceps from calisthenics, and right now I'll be showing you my favorite exercises and variations of the bar versions. The first being the ring chin. Come on, you saw that coming. First of all, set the straps vertical and close together. You will notice that in the bottom position I'm either in a neutral position or semi-supinated. And as I start to pull up, the rings naturally rotate in, thus bringing my elbows in and hitting the second function of the biceps. So not only do you get a much better contraction, but you also minimize the lateral forces because the rings quite literally move with you. And in this way, there is very little cueing for me to give you. So all you're doing is this. See that? So for the sake of comparison, same grip width. In the bottom, you'll notice I'm a little bit more flared, but I'm the one who has to do the rotating. But it's against an immovable restrictive bar. And you have to maintain that position. So I'm forcing in, even though they don't want to be in that position. That's creating some pressure here. That's why you get golfer's elbow. And at the bottom, I have no choice but to unload by flaring out. Whereas the rings is doing the exact same thing, except for the fact that you're supinating against resistance. I can literally just do this, and technically that's working my biceps. But if I try to do that here, I mean, it's a mind-muscle connection thing. You'll feel it, but I'm not rotating against load. It's like with this arm wrestling exercise. You're rotating into load. The range of motion is not much, but just by doing this, I'm not even doing the forearm flexion aspect. I'm activating the biceps more. So in this case, you're supinating and then curling. And with rings, it's the exact same thing. Here you can clearly see the difference. With the bar, I'm forcing the elbow in, but the ring, it's automatically doing what I want for biceps. By the way, you can get similar benefits with a $20 Manila rope. All links will be in the description box. So in the bottom, you're 100% neutral, but you're actually flexing the forearms, and you can rotate the rope inwards. Although you really should get a pair of gymnastic rings, since you can do other movements. Speaking of one-arm chin-ups, if you can do at least one rep, you probably already have big biceps because the requirement is that you can pull your body weight externally. And if you're doing that on a chin-up, I mean, that's amazing, whether you're using specific form or not. But what I'll say is, you don't have to get this strong in order to have noticeable results. Instead, use regressions for hypertrophy, including if you can already rep these out. Because I'll tell you, I've done 8 one-arm pull-ups, and I never train them. I only do archer ring chins for bicep specificity. So not only will you get stronger, the carryover is free, but it's superior for biceps. Why? Because you can actually rep the thing for sets and reps in a bodybuilding rep range, and you have stability from the non-working arm. Because when you do regular one-arm chins, you can see the torso is rotating all over the place. That lowers motor unit recruitment, and it's a lot more difficult to coordinate. So there's a tremendous skill component to one-arm chins. But the archer, I like a complete false grip, literally wrist only. I'm not using any hand assistance. Some people like to mildly grip with the fingertips. This right here, so you're a bit out, and then you're pulling in. The arm is straight. Muscularly, I'm doing the exact same thing, except now I can coordinate my body through space. There's no front to back motion. It's only sideways, but you're not going anywhere because that's where the straps are fucking positioned. So it's almost like some weird mixed grip. Left arm is diagonal, right is straight. Now, you could false grip the working arm, flex those forearms hard, cup it over without gripping. That's how I like it. You're gonna start on this side, and as you pull in with the elbows coming towards your hips, you straighten out the left arm. So a common mistake is guys bending like this. Instead, straighten and almost push it out to the side. That's the cleanest form that yields the best carryover to one-arm chin-ups. And I should also mention that archer ring chins will blow up your lower lats because you're perfectly lined up as if you're doing it with a cable, yet you're also leveraging the rib cage and getting the optimal squeeze at the top. You're not going too high regarding humeral elevation, so the lats have good leverage. And then as you're coming in, it's as if you're doing ring chins from the front. So it's like you're getting the best of both worlds. And you're automatically in a low rep range, so fatigue doesn't creep up on you. So check it out. I'm pulling in towards the spine, the elbows to my side, so I'm getting the optimal lat squeeze. And then as I come here, I'm also getting a decent stretch, but I'm not at the highest levels of humeral elevation. I'm at that angle, so the lats still have good leverage in the bottom position. You see? And because the torso is only moving sideways and you're naturally gonna get stopped, it's stable. There's no forward to back because you're aligned perfectly. What's there not to love? It's a great exercise for back and biceps hypertrophy. By the way, everything I showed you with the rings can be replicated with the bar. It'll be a little bit more restrictive, but there's substitutions. So if you don't resonate with this, fine. Do the bar archer. Except you can't force away as much. That is a bit restrictive. Although, if you use the finger variant, then it doesn't matter if you're bending your arm a bit because the assistance is so minimal, especially if you're using one finger. So my default is always two fingers. It's a little bit more stable. And you could grind out a couple more reps. F me, it's so difficult to talk while doing these advanced variations. Oh my God. Speaking of supination, you can actually do this on pushing exercises. Dips being the best. So even though we're working the chest, shoulders, and tris, when you have straight arms and you're rotating in like this, that's called the RTO position. Rings turned out. You're better activating the biceps and the upper chest. So it's a 3-in-1 banger, building all the pushing muscles, weighted stretch overload, straight arm conditioning strength, bicep gains, upper chest. Holy shit. Just try it. They'll humble you. And please go slowly. You want to rotate under control. Now you don't have to bring the hands completely in like this, although that is recommended for maximum difficulty. As long as you go from pronated to supinated or semi-supinated or neutral to semi-supinated, you're good. So all the way down, it doesn't matter what you do with the hands. As you come up, you're rotating a little bit. So even if you rotate out ever so slightly, just this with straight arms is activating the biceps. Whether you want this motion here or fully supinate in is up to you. The point is, supinate, that's your bonus tip. All right, so I showed you all the best ring compounds for biceps biasing. Now, we're going to isolate with the best exercise, the Pelican curl. But my little twist is to use reverse bands so that there's no excuse. All of you can do it. Because that's always what I hear. Oh, they're too difficult. You're telling me to become an elite gymnast. Nope. Regress. So I know this looks messed up. Put the band right under your nipple line, grab the rings right behind you, and slowly lower yourself. And then curl. It's a biceps isolator. Now, if you want more long head, position the straps slightly out and flare the elbows. So exact same thing, but your leverages are better. So if you can't even use a micro mini band, this might get the job done. So you can really feel the stretch in the biceps in the bottom. Right here, it's more intense than an incline curl. This is lengthened position training. Shoulder extension, a little bit out. You know what? If you've never done a Pelican curl, prepare for the worst DOMs of your life. This is one of the secrets to calisthenics athletes having enormous biceps. Now, if you're strong enough without the reverse band, congratulations. Here, use a false grip elbows are somewhat in, lean forward, keep those elbows tucked. The only thing I'll say is you're probably gonna have to be a very low body fat to do these unassisted, and you'll most likely be in a lower rep range, and that's fine. See, I'm tired now, so I can't get many reps, but this is hands down the best exercise for the biceps. And then as a mechanical drop set, you can go into a shorten curl. Usually it's the opposite, you do short then lengthen, but in this case the leverages are just easier. So regular ring curl. Squeezing the biceps hard at the top. If you want, you can lower yourself. This is how I like to do mine, so that you're curling up like inverted row. Oh! You don't need to wear weighted vests. Just go to failure on both. You're all set. And by the way, if you don't want to face plant, you can always use your feet slowly inching back. So you're cheating, almost as if you had a stick. Only do that if you know you're going to fall forward and possibly injure your biceps tendons. Although I will say, Pelican curls, proper full range of motion, will strengthen the bicep tendons, preventing tears. In terms of positioning, I like number 10. So right on the belly button, lower ab line area. Make sure you're supinated in the starting position, elbows tucked. That's all there is to it. And keep the body forward. So a Pelican curl is like doing a super low incline curl. You're stretching the biceps to the max. So you can either do Pelican curls or lay all the way back on a flat or low incline bench, let's say 15 to 30 degrees tops. Or you can even mimic the Pelican curl on the cable station. So it's about the arm orientation. With Pelican curls, we're stretched all the way back, but even more so than a traditional incline curl. So compared to a vertical seated curl, when you set the incline to 60 degrees, this is what most people do, guys will be like, wow, I'm getting the maximum stretch on the biceps. Except they're not. Yes, it's significantly better, and this is probably all you need when going heavy, but you can lower that incline even more and get a better stretch. You want the arm so far back that you can even see your pec stretching, which is actually what we did with the ring dip. So although I'm not saying the chest and biceps are connected in this way, you still want to imagine it in that way, as if you're in the bottom of a cable crossover or fly, but with completely straight arms. And actually, if you do straight arm flies with straight arms, you will feel your biceps more. Try it, I'm not wrong. Whereas Pelican curls force you at that extreme angle. Whether the rings are slightly higher or lower, at the end of the day, you're getting the maximum stretch. The arm is always fully pinned back. And even if you try to manipulate the head motion, because guys will raise their head off the incline bench to reduce the stretch and lift more weight, they're lifting with their egos. Well, guess what? You can't ego lift with the Pelican curls. You're doing the opposite. 90% of you will have to reverse band it, but you'll get better gains for it. You're actually going to increase stability as well, although this is stable enough because the straps are keeping you in a machine-like pattern. But still, you're either strong enough to do them or you're not. And yes, for those wondering, this could be replicated with a cable setup. I showed that in one of my bicep stretching videos that I made a while back. Quick bonus tip, even though this video is all about rings and biceps, you should also do hammer pull-ups because that will bias the brachialis, which sits right underneath the bicep. That will make your arm look more impressive from the side. So whether you're flexing here, here, or even from the back, you can see how it enhances the separation. And so not only do you want to do hammer curls, but also hammer pull-ups so that you maximize the strength of your brachialis and stay injury-free. Because at the end of the day, you are doing elbow flexion on all the variations. So we don't want any weak links in the chain. This will also keep your elbows healthy, even though rings naturally line you up in a way that minimizes overuse. So the brachialis has good leverage from here. So a lot of arm wrestlers will do partials, or you can leave a slight bend. Don't fully that hand get, keep some tension, and pump it out. And there you have it, guys. Now you know exactly how to build big biceps without lifting weights. So I hope you give these variations a shot. Let me know how difficult they are, and comment more body weight if you want to see more videos just like this.